Well, a couple of things. First of all, people say that they won't support it, but no one's actually read the bill yet. As we're discussing, it doesn't exist. And no one's seen the response of the public.
So if no one's seen the bill yet, that goes both ways. That means Luxon might see it and go, oh, I like that, which is another reason we can't trust Luxon, which I think is kind of actually what he's about to say in another fantastic freeze frame.
Always thought it's important to try and keep open mind about that and wait to see what people say. But the second point is, let's just imagine for a moment that you're right and that all that's going to happen, a bill will be drafted that articulates the treaty as a document that unites us all with equal rights. It goes to Parliament, it's debated there, it goes to select committee, people can have a say. Then whatever happens after that, we've introduced the idea that each of us have a right to participate and a say over what our founding document means and what our constitutional future is. And
he says it so bluntly, we've all got the right to have a say in the founding document. Like, it's be a good thing that actually, and I know that some people are going to push back against what I say this, but I often think about this. I mean, the previous guest talked about this being a covenant. We talk about it being a contract law. And if you talk about it as a contract, no, not everyone's got the say in my contract with my bank. Sorry, the signatories have a say, not everybody. And he's basically going, well, if it fails, at least it'll carry enough division that people will be talking like they've got a right to push into a document that two parties signed. So he's saying that like that's a good thing. And look, I didn't ask Alistair this, but I was thinking it as we were doing it. We've even heard Chloe say things like, yes, let's have a conversation around this. No, this is not the way to do it. So if this evolved into a conversation that was healthy and was worth something, maybe, but it's not the way that he's setting it up. Then what Chloe always says is you don't have that by having a binary outcome. Yes, no, we don't. That's not the way to have this conversation. Anything, Chewy?
Also, he says, let's let everybody have a conversation into our founding document. That's great. Anyone can have a conversation. Anyone can say whatever the fuck they want. Only some people will have the knowledge and the maturity to provide anything of value.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that just opening the gates, we know, because you could look at any comment section you'd like on any story that is published about Māori, and you will see some of the people that want to have their say on the treaty. And I'm sorry, I'll be real blunt here. You don't know what you're talking about. We don't need to hear from you. You can keep venting your spleen in the Herald comment section until you eventually get that comment section shut down again. Because you're stupid.
By the social media team. That's where you give them the kudos, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't shake the feeling that Seymour knows that this is a dead dog. He is never going to get this through the select committee process. That's not his aim. He is an Atlas plant, and everywhere the Atlas touch, they kick off the division in society between the colonial people and the indigenous people. That is why it's in the news now. He wants this to go through the full 6-month select committee process where people can have their say. That is an enormous amount of very motivated, very toxic people venting their poisonous thoughts on the indigenous people of this country. And people like us and people like the chat need to be just as fucking motivated and strong-willed to push back against what he wants to open up.
All right. So now we're going to get to the same part of the conversation where he basically says he thinks he can turn Luxon, which in another context sounds a bit dodgy, but you know what I'm saying.
Country that now has many strands, people from all over the world calling it home. I think it's critical that each of us actually lives in a country where we have the ability to do that. And I think once that discussion is started, it's going to be hard to say, no, we're going to go back to a world where unless you're an expert, which is rarely actually explained what that means, or unless you have the right view.
Expert means has the qualifications or the experience to speak into things. Like if you had brain surgery, You see the expert has been through the right schooling, they've done the other schooling, they've been trained in a hospital, they've gone through the system of being a hospital to be the senior doctor. That's what an expert is. You can see a train or a record of why they're now considered. The other thing about an expert is an expert needs to be considered to be an expert within society. Looking on the lawn of Parliament a couple of summers ago, people were pointing at people within that group of people protesting, saying they're experts. No. You have to be identified as and accepted as an expert to be an expert. Sorry if that sounds a bit elitist, but it's true. Like, we can all be experts in our own minds. Expertise comes from experience and training, comes from a worldview, comes from qualifications and job. That's what it means to be an expert, Seymour. So don't play this stupid fucking game like, well, whatever that means. That's what it means.
The other thing I want to point out here, because you saw a little snap of it. This is a great freeze frame, and I'm going to talk for hours just so I can sit here. This little tactic that he's got of basically speaking to immigrants to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And he wants them on his side. He wants them to see that Māori have these special rights that they will never have. And he is hoping that they will not have the knowledge on the treaty or the understanding of the treaty, because they haven't been in this country very long, to agree with him.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to educate wherever we can.
Yeah. And it's really important as well, if you're in one of those communities and you're watching and listening, if you've got an inroad into that community, it's really important, because, if let's say that English is your second language and you're in the community and you're in New Zealand now, nice, shiny looking man in a big suit saying he wants to make you feel really welcome to this country. It sounds like an appealing sort of a message. If you're in those communities, if you have access to those communities, it's really important that you actually share what's going on, because, the best kind of, to come back to another religious term, but the best kind of evangelizing to convince someone of an idea is to do it through friends and family. That's the most effective way of doing it. And so it's good for you to know that.